Water-type Pokemon have always been my choice of starter in a majority of my playthroughs, except the last two generations of course, because nobody should be subjected to looking at Inteleon and Kokwevo for more than 5 minutes. So choosing starters is usually a quick process. Well, in Elite Redux, you get access to all the water starters, so choosing the right one comes down to their skills. With each Pokemon having 4 abilities at once, it only complicates things further. In this video, I will go over all of them and their new abilities, stats, and moves to find out which is the best. Since not all starters have Mega Evolutions, those will not be considered. Let's get right into it. Naturally, we start with Kanto and our boy Squirtle. Well, actually, with the first level cap being 16, we'll be looking at Wartortle. This goes for all the other starters as well. The 3 abilities it has access to are Stamina, which will increase its defense each time it's hit. With Body Press, this can be very useful. Bulletproof, which will keep it safe from projectile moves, and Regenerator, which will heal 1/3 of its HP when switching out. Having Flip Turn is great with this. At level 16, only one innate ability is unlocked, that being Torrent. Every single water starter has this, and it just powers up their water moves. The other 2 innates will be unlocked after beating the first and second gym. Wartortle is great for the first gym since it's mostly rock types and is bulky enough to survive hits from physical attackers. This is also the case for Brawly's fight, especially with the newly unlocked Shell Armor reducing damage by all moves by 20%. Finally, Blastoise is available, unlocking its full potential as a starter. Its stats have basically no changes other than a slight increase to HP. It's a tank, but it won't be sweeping teams. Blastoise has essentially the exact same abilities, but it gains a final innate being Mega Launcher, increasing the power of all of its moves like Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Focus Blast. This is fine, but it's not really a great attacker. Where it shines is its ability to win 1v1 against physical attackers. Opponents will need 2 to 3 hits to take it out, but with Stamina, 4 to 5, and with recovery from Aqua Ring and leftovers. Throw in Body Press and it can reverse the rolls and do solid damage. Shell Smash is also an option to double speed and attack, with really no downside. Unfortunately, Blastoise utility starts running thin the further you go in the game. Later in the game, it just can't keep up, and you really start to need that Mega Evolution from it because it just becomes a burden. Factoring all that in, I'd give Blastoise a 5 out of 10. Totodile and Croconaw are 2 of my favorites ever and were the first starters I ever used when playing Elite Redux. One of my first videos was about Feraligatr, but a lot has changed since version 1.6, so how does it play now? Croconaw is really good on the early routes since it has Violent Rush, which is a great ability to have to start the game. Boosting speed and attack on turn 1 can let it take out problematic Pokemon. But its physical move pool isn't amazing to start. Roxanne is pretty bulky defensively, so even with the type advantage, it can struggle. After that, Strongjaw is unlocked, giving it more strength to its biting moves. The power of Steven Stone and Brawly's Pokemon though are just too much for it sometimes and will need help until it's able to evolve into Feraligatr to unlock all of its abilities. Feraligatr is now a water dark type and has amazing improvements from the base games, now with 125 in attack and 88 in speed. With its defense at 100, it's not going down super quickly. The final innate, Rough Skin, will hurt any Pokemon that makes contact, so having this defense is nice. Strongjaw can finally be used to its full potential with stab moves like Aqua Fang or Death Roll. It has Intimidate for double support or to help it get off a Dragon Dance so it can take out a good amount of Pokemon. The best way I found success with Feraligatr was Violent Rush paired with a Choice Band. For that first turn, its attack is 70% stronger and its speed is 50% faster, destroying a ton of Pokemon, and all it needs to get it back is to be switched out. While it might not be the most Nuzlocke friendly starter, Feraligatr is a Pokemon you can take far in this game. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Mudkip and Marshtomp are the traditional Hoenn experience. Marshtomp is the first middle stage so far with 2 typings, only having weakness to grass and a new immunity being electric. With the innate Dry Skin, it actually has another immunity to water, but isn't unlocked until after Roxanne. And Marshtomp is amazing in the first gym. Field Explorer, which boosts all HM moves by 50%, does crazy damage since Dive is 110 base power. Slap a Choice Scarf on it and it's amazing. Not to mention Stealth Rocks to break sashes and things. Brawly's gym is similar, but not as useful as with Roxanne. It has a great matchup versus the lead Noivern though. Swampert is a real menace though, with its stats being a bit more defensive and now dropping 20 in special attack to split between each of its defense. Again, having only one weakness, it's much tankier than it seems. Swampert loves being in the rain. Swift Swim as a choice ability makes it 50% faster, and Dry Skin heals it after each turn. But tell me, why doesn't it learn Rain Dance anymore? This literally doesn't make any sense and means it needs to be on a rain team to take advantage of these. Its other abilities just aren't that good. Stamina is great, but it just doesn't work well on Swampert. Field Explorer makes Waterfall a really reliable stab move, but they also took away strength from its move pool, so it can't even take advantage of that. If Swampert doesn't get help from the Rain, or Tailwind, or even Trick Room, it's just not that good. It really just seems like its Mega Evolution is the only saving grace. Well, at least Marshtomp has a solid run. 3 out of 10. Piplup is amazing. Perfect even. Prinplup is just not. Every time I use one, I count down the seconds until it's an Empoleon. Well, how easy is it to get to that point? Not at all. Prinplup has nothing going for it. Two of its abilities, Defiant and Competitive, are really situational. Like sure, they can be useful, but this early on, you only get 2 active abilities and Torrent isn't going to carry, even in the first gym. Loaded Dice Bubble Beam goes crazy though. The last ability is Big Pecs, which boosts contact moves. It's a special attacker. At least after the first badge, you get Antarctic Bird, boosting up its flying type attacks. It can help out with the minions of the second gym, but certainly not with Brawly. But you finally made it to Empoleon, so what can he do? Well, statistically, the only difference is a 5-point increase to special attack. Already not off to an amazing start, but its abilities can change things for it. Not really. Swift Swim and Slush Rush are only really useful if another Pokemon sets up the weather for Empoleon. Competitive is your best bet. If you plan for an Intimidate user, it can be really scary. You're basically forced to run a Choice Scarf, and then it's decent with some strong moves. Or Focus Sash and Agility. Priority is everywhere though, so that's a hit or miss. Get it to level 56, which is after the 6th gym badge, and it gets Steel Beam. Combined with Impenetrable, which is essentially just Magic Guard, and it can deal great damage. I love Empoleon in my heart, but it's just not that great. The Redux form outclasses it easily, 3.5 out of 10. The Oshawott family. Gotta give a huge shout out to my boy Shello from the current Nuzlocke I'm streaming. He's the GOAT. Kept him from evolving into Duat, but you shouldn't because Duat is pretty solid. Its dual typing of water fighting is perfect for Roxanne's gym. Having access to Fatal Precision makes this even better as it's a built-in expert belt. Also having the great Violent Rush makes it similar to Croconaws' power. Duat is fine against the second gym, but it's actually pretty helpful against Steven Stone. Violent Rush with its speed boost is very helpful. After the second badge, you're faced with a choice. Unnovan or Hisuian Samurott. First, let's go over the OG. Unnovan Samurott has a slight increase to physical attack. Both are pretty much the exact same, but I usually prefer physical sets. With one of its choice abilities, Mystic Blades, some of its moves become special, so it basically can run both at the same time. I think Keen Edge is best though. It has plenty of great slashing moves like Excalibur, Frostbrand, Sacred, and Secret Sword. It's not really that fast, but it will always have Violent Rush, so at least for the first turn, it's faster and has decent power. Shell Armor is there, so it's not like it'll just go down in one hit. Shell Smash makes it very dangerous though. Use a weakness policy right, and it's GG's. I'd give the OG Samurott a 6 out of 10. As for the Hisuian version, things are a little different. Its stats are much better for attacking simply because its speed is 20 points higher. It can't really be a special attacker, but that's fine. It also gets access to its signature move, Ceaseless Edge, which gets boosted by Keen Edge and sets up spikes, which we love around here. Break those sashes. Battle Armor is the best to run if you want to get off a Shell Smash so you can sweep. Merciless means any Pokemon poisoned or paralyzed, or with its speed lowered, is getting crit, so that's always nice. I'd say the Hisuian version is slightly better than the OG, 6.5 out of 10. Frogadier is the greatest middle stage starter evolution of all time, so I was really hoping it would be good. And it actually really is. Frogadier has a 97 in speed, which is top tier for the early game. 83 in special attack is not bad either. With access to Protean, it's able to be a variety of different types, from Ghost to Ice. It's an excellent early game Pokemon, even in the Steven Stone fight. Having Flash Freeze this early also is really nice, as freeze burning opponents cuts their special attack in half. Greninja has been changed so its physical attack pretty much matches its special attack, making it a mixed attacker, letting you change the set depending on the situation. Skill Link is a very powerful innate it unlocks, letting moves like Water Shuriken or physical moves like Beatdown and Spike Cannon to hit all 5 times, meaning they're much stronger. Speed Boost is also an amazing ability it has. Greninja is already pretty fast, but now you can reach top tier speed in no time. You'll quickly find out that its power is lacking though. Basically no defenses, you don't want Greninja getting hit unless it's sashed. Protean can make it stick around longer by switching to types based on the AI, but it can only take you so far. Without Battle Bond, Greninja just doesn't hold up for long. 5.5 out of 10. Popplio is one of the most hated water starters of all time for no good reason. Well, all of its haters are going to have to eat crow because Brionne is an absolute beast in the early game. all because of one ability, Prankster, giving all status moves +1 priority, and Brionne has access to some great ones early on, like Charm, instantly cutting a physical attacker's attack in half, and Calm Mind, giving Brionne better special attack and special defense. It's not only an amazing support Pokemon, but it can also win a lot of 1v1 battles. Since it's also a fairy type, it's also very good for the second gym. Primarina is exactly the same as before, but with 5 more in defense. Its special attack of 126 is really good, and its special defense of 116 makes it really bulky in that regard. With it still keeping Prankster, Calm Mind can be used to wall out special attackers. Draining Kiss is used to keep it alive. Charm can be used to force the AI to switch out if it can't do enough damage, allowing for a free hit on a Pokemon coming in. Liquid Voice gives it an incredibly powerful water move since Primarina gets access to Boom Burst. Instead of Prankster, Primarina can run Amplifier, boosting all sound moves by 30%. Requiem is sawed with this as well as Alluring Voice. Well, how does this all come together? It's a situational Pokemon for the most part. Pokemon become too powerful, and with how slow it is, you need to pick fights wisely. Prankster makes it one of the best in doubles though, 5 out of 10. Sobble is the only saving grace from this ugly trio. Drizzly is one of my least favorite middle stage Pokemon, but it is solid in the early game. It's a very similar build to Frogadier with its high speed being 90 and high special attack being 95. It has Opportunist, which is always nice, giving it priority if a Pokemon is below half health. It also has Prankster, but is really only good for setting up spikes or maybe hitting a Pokemon with Soak. It's faster than most of the early game Pokemon, at least at first. Air Slash is nice for Brawly's gym, but like most of the others, its power level raises too quickly and it needs its evolution. Inteleon is the exact same as it was before. It's your typical glass cannon build, but it's really good at being one. 125 in special attack will definitely leave a mark. Inteleon's dual wield ability will make all of its Mega Launcher moves hit twice and will increase their power, which is really useful because Focus Sash Pokemon will often take out your glass cannon or at least use up its own sash. Plus, Hydro Cannon hitting it for even more damage is dangerous to go up against. Deadeye will make sure these moves never miss. With access to Zap Cannon being able to paralyze a Pokemon 100% of the time, this is extremely powerful and great for coverage. Focus Blast will also always hit, so it has impressive coverage options. It's not even forced to be a special attacker because of momentum, using its speed stat to calculate for contact moves, so its attack is basically 120. Inteleon has a Mega, but the power of its base form can carry it for a long time. 8.5 out of 10. And last and absolutely least, we have the ugliest middle stage Pokemon ever created, Quaxwell. It's fine in the early game. Its stats aren't too special. 85 in attack and 70 in speed can be useful. The big thing it has is probably that it has Moxie and it can start rolling through teams if things go right. Choice Scarf is mandatory though. Having Stab Double Kick for all the sturdy mons is nice. After that, Striker is unlocked, giving kicking moves more power, but you'll be wanting its evolution. Quaquavel's stats are the exact same with its high attack of 120 and a decent speed of 90. Other than its attack, all of its stats are kinda average, so it's almost like a glass cannon, but it has opportunities to survive hits. The best way to improve speed though is with its signature move, Aqua Step, raising speed each time it's used. Quaquavel is an amazing revenge killer because of this, and Moxie basically gives it a free Dragon Dance with each KO. Still having Striker, its kicking moves are very powerful, like High Jump Kick and Triple Axle. It certainly can take out half a team or more if it gets going. Water Veil prevents burns, so it can't be slowed down. After the 7th gym, it gets Victory Dance, so it can do some real serious work in the late game. Quaquavel's sweeping potential is the highest and most consistent of any starter. Even though I despise the design, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. So these are the best water starters in Elite Redux 2.5. I was pretty disappointed with a lot of them, and they pretty much all require Mega Evolutions to be usable. And even though I'm a huge Inteleon and Quaquavel hater, if I needed a great water starter, I would choose them. Let me know what you think down below, and if I should do a video for the fire and grass types. Shout out to our members, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.